What if the secret to true wealth is not a method, but a mindset already installed within you? What single idea could liberate you from every barrier you face? It's the understanding that abundance is not something you pursue, but something you reveal from within. You are not incomplete. You are not unqualified. You are not a beggar. You are a vessel of unlimited potential, wired directly to the source of all creation. And yet, so few ever access this wellspring. Why? Because we've been trained to look for treasure in the world, rather than recognizing it's the world that mirrors the treasure inside us. I want you to stop for a moment. Think. You've been told to grind, to fight, and to sacrifice. Rarely were you told to listen. You were taught to ask a distant power for help, but not to awaken the power that is your birthright. This is the root of most struggle. What you don't acknowledge, you can't utilize. What you don't believe, you can't embody. The path to prosperity isn't just financial. It's a spiritual principle. Your thoughts become your reality. Your feelings attract your circumstances. Your core beliefs manifest your world. But if you think from scarcity, feel from lack, and believe in separation, your life will reflect that internal division. Therefore, the first step toward wealth isn't a budget. It's a revolution of the mind. And that revolution ignites when you accept that you are not separate from the creative force of the universe. You are not a servant hoping for scraps. You are a co-creator, designed to bring a unique vision into form. The instant you see yourself as a conscious partner, not a pleading victim, everything transforms. You stop chasing a life and start constructing it. You stop seeking validation and start operating from inherent value. You stop fearing the future and begin designing it with certainty. Don't confuse this for ego. This is your sacred duty. You weren't placed here merely to consume and comply. You were sent here to innovate, to inspire, to build, and to flourish. And your success isn't just an option, it's a necessary expression of the intelligence that shaped you. Now let's get practical. If the source of all prosperity lives within, how do you access it? First, through conviction. Not passive hope, but active, determined, unwavering conviction that the dreams you hold are meaningful, legitimate, and placed there for a reason. If an aspiration lives in you, it is your responsibility to honor it. It isn't a daydream. It's a directive. But conviction alone is insufficient. You must also master your mind. You must curate your thoughts deliberately, because every thought is a seed. Each one will grow and bear fruit, either nourishing or poisonous. The person who lets their mind run wild will live in chaos. The person who cultivates thoughts of possibility, faith, and plenty begins to shape a new reality. Your internal landscape is the soil of your future. You can't plant seeds of doubt and expect a harvest of confidence. You can't water anxiety daily and expect to reap peace. You can't speak of limitation and attract expansion. This is why you must become the curator of your consciousness. You must embody wealth long before your account reflects it. You must speak with the authority of someone who has already arrived. You must move with assurance before the evidence appears. And if you're waiting to feel prepared, understand this. Readiness is a choice, not a condition. Most people wait for a signal from the outside, but the world is waiting for a signal from you. That signal is your choice to stand, to build, to refuse mediocrity in any area of life. This choice must be followed by crystalline clarity. Clarity is the fuel of creation. A fuzzy aim yields fuzzy outcomes. A lukewarm desire produces weak effort. So I ask you, what precisely do you want? What specific experience? What tangible result? What enduring mark? Don't just sense it. Define it. Write it. Claim it. Because a person without a clear picture will fade away, not from a lack of effort, but from a lack of direction. Once you are clear, visualize, not as idle wishing, but as a disciplined practice. See the life you are meant to lead. Imagine it with such vivid detail that your deeper mind accepts it as fact. When your subconscious accepts a new truth, it mobilizes unseen forces to bring it into being. You start to act differently, communicate differently, and carry yourself differently. Soon the outer world aligns. This is how you align with true prosperity, not apart from the universal source, but through it. Each stage of your journey is energized by this connection. You are not operating alone. You are being guided, supported, and elevated by a power that does not falter. But you must remain tuned in. You must adjust your mental frequency to the channel of success. If your thoughts are dominated by worry, guilt, or insufficiency, you are tuned to static. But if your thoughts resonate with faith, intent, and gratitude, you begin to harmonize with the abundance that is your natural inheritance. Yes, inheritance. Wealth is not for a select few. It is for those who understand and apply universal principles, thought, belief, decision, persistence, and contribution. When these are in harmony, abundance flows. Not always immediately, but inevitably. And what of challenges? Will they vanish? No. But your perception of them will shift. The person aligned with their source sees obstacles as data, not defeat. They understand friction is instructive. That delay is preparation. That rejection is often redirection. They don't freeze. They adapt. They don't surrender. They recalibrate. Why? Because they know the destination is assured. They aren't hoping, they are knowing. Let me be direct. The most prosperous people aren't those who merely accumulate. They are those who think with precision. They are those who have eliminated the language of fear from their inner dialogue. They begin their days not with anxiety, but with alignment, through stillness, affirmation, and decisive intent. This alignment isn't mystical. It's strategic. You can't generate extraordinary results from an ordinary, cluttered mind. You can't create at a high level while thinking from a place of lack. You must raise your standard. How you begin your day, how you communicate, how you enter a space, all of it must broadcast the identity you have consciously chosen. And what identity is that? It is focused. It is purposeful. It is faithful. It is generous. It is disciplined. It is connected. It is courageous. It is powerful. It is the identity of someone who co-creates with the intelligence inside them, not for selfish gain, but to uplift every life they are meant to touch. Do you see? Your success is not a solo endeavor. It's about all who will be fed, employed, motivated, and awakened because you answered your call. There are destinies linked to your discipline. There are breakthroughs waiting on your obedience. There is a legacy dependent on your willingness to trust what has been placed within you. This isn't about pride. It's about stewardship. And the first thing you must steward is your own mind. That is the origin of every transformation. You are no longer permitted to think in miniature. You are no longer allowed to conceal your capacity. You are no longer open to narratives of limitation. From now on, you are a conduit for impact, wisdom, and abundance. And that conduit is directed by a higher intelligence every step of the way. Your thoughts are no longer accidental. They are architectured. Your actions are no longer responses. They are intentional. Your emotions are no longer turbulent. They are anchored in knowing. This is the truest version of you, the original design before doubt and past experiences drew over it. This version is unstoppable. So begin today. Begin now. Get specific. Think courageously. Document your vision. Declare your nature. Affirm your path. Visualize your outcomes. Take aligned action daily. Give without condition. Receive without shame. Move with poise. Speak with conviction. Having declared who you are and aligned with the infinite, you must move forward, not tentatively, but with full momentum. Momentum is the invisible current that rewards consistent directed action. And when that action is fueled by spiritual clarity, it becomes a formidable force. Definiteness of purpose remains the bedrock of all achievement. The individual who moves with clarity, backed by the source within, becomes a phenomenon the world must accommodate. So, what is your definite chief aim? Can you articulate it in one potent sentence? Can you feel its truth in your core? Can you state it aloud with absolute certainty? If not, you are wandering, not building. A person without a definite aim is adrift on the currents of others' expectations. But the person with a purpose, revealed from within, becomes a creator in a world of consumers. And your true purpose will never be insignificant, selfish, or superficial. It will be profound, rooted in contribution, growth, and influence. It will demand evolution. It will demand bravery. But it will also unlock grace, insight, and stamina you didn't know you possessed. The moment you commit to this purpose, the universe responds. You may wonder, how do I know it's the right purpose? I'll tell you, your genuine purpose is that which refuses to release you. It calls you in silence. It stirs you from sleep. It aches when you witness need. It isn't selected, it's uncovered. And once uncovered, it must be honored with a plan and structure. Write it down. Design a strategy. Break it into steps. Refuse to let another sunrise find you living by accident. The intelligence within you is orderly. It is meticulous. It is constructive. You, made in that likeness, must also construct. The gap between dreaming and doing is strategy. And strategy isn't complex. It's a sequence of intelligent, consistent actions taken toward a sacred objective. You don't need to do everything at once. You need to know the next right step and then execute it fully. Focus your energy like a scalpel, not a floodlight, because scattered focus yields diluted results. But concentrated faith delivers exponential returns. Now we must discuss another vital principle: decision. The indecisive individual is divided, and a divided mind is unstable in all its ways. Prosperity doesn't flow to the confused. Success doesn't belong to the hesitant. Power doesn't reside in the uncertain. You must become someone who decides swiftly and alters course slowly. Why? Because decision is the act through which you demonstrate faith. Every clear decision you make announces to existence, I know my identity. I know my aim. I trust that what I require will be revealed as I advance. That kind of person is uncommon, and that kind of person is prosperous. Don't wait for perfect circumstances. Don't wait for total comprehension. Don't wait for universal approval. Make the decision that honors your highest self, and then proceed as if it is already complete. When you commit wholly, the mechanics will follow. And once you've decided, you must guard that decision with persistence. Persistence isn't obstinance. Persistence is spiritual loyalty to your vision. It's the quiet refusal to trade your divine potential for a comfortable, mediocre existence. The world will test your resolve. It will resist. But the person who persists, anchored in purpose, reinforced by inner alignment, and driven by conviction, cannot be defeated. For they do not depend on external fuel. They draw power from within. And that's where your inner connection becomes your supreme advantage. While others grow tired, you tap into an endless reserve. While others quit at the first hardship, you remember that pressure forges strength. That opposition confirms you are moving forward. That delays are not denials. They are divine calibrations. You must learn to respect the process. to appreciate the resistance, to see every setback as sacred ground, for all experiences are conspiring for your ultimate growth. All of them, even the pain, the silence, the seasons where progress seems invisible. That is often when the deepest work is being done. That's when you are being prepared for a level of success you envisioned, but weren't yet strong enough to sustain. This preparation takes time. But time isn't your adversary. Time is your collaborator when you are in alignment. The source isn't rushed. It isn't confused. It is shaping you into a person who can build legacies, not just collect paychecks. It is forging character, not just arranging comfort. If you trust this process, your reward will exceed your initial imagination. Now we must address your relationship with money, for most carry inherited beliefs that block their flow. Money is not evil. Money is not impure. Money is not unspiritual. Money is a resource, an instrument, an amplifier. In the hands of a conscious person, money nourishes families, actualizes visions, heals communities, and establishes legacies. So why do you hesitate to command it? Why do you shy from asking for it, earning it, receiving it, and managing it with confidence? Because somewhere you were taught that money and virtue conflict, that wanting more is greed, that being rich is corrupt. But I tell you now, one of the great lies that keeps people in poverty is the idea that wealth is unrighteous. The truth is this: when a conscious person gains resources, the world improves, because their wealth circulates through principled hands. It funds healing. It rewards excellence. It shows others that elevation is possible. From today, see money not as a target, but as a byproduct of value delivered, of impact made, of alignment with spiritual law. The more value you create, the more money will find you, effortlessly, shamelessly, and without apology. And what is the most potent way to create value? By solving meaningful problems. The person who solves problems is the person who commands wealth. That's why you must train your mind to see solutions, not just barriers. Every difficulty you encounter is an invitation to innovate. And innovation is divine expression. You are a problem solver. You are a guide. You are a thinker. You are not here to labor for currency. You are here to design, to build enterprises, to invent, to communicate, to lead. Whatever your calling, know this: the more you expand, the more you earn. The more you give, the more you are given. The more you trust the intelligence within, the more life will trust you with opportunity. Your environment is the echo chamber of your mindset. And one more essential point: your surroundings matter deeply. The voices you hear, the people you associate with, the media you consume, these shape your atmosphere. And atmosphere dictates growth. You cannot grow prosperous in a toxic climate. You cannot grow prosperous while listening to fear, complaint, idleness, and doubt. You must construct an atmosphere of belief in your home, in your mind, in your conversations. Surround yourself with voices that speak life. Read material that expands your perspective. Consume content that awakens your spirit. Guard your gates, what you hear, what you see, what you entertain. Because your input shapes your inner world, and your inner world shapes your outer reality. If no one around you believes at the level you aspire to, then you be the first. Ignite the movement. Be the proof that one person connected to Source can alter everything. You are not behind schedule. You are not trapped. You are not late. You are being summoned to a higher vibration. The invitation is clear. Rise. Think at a higher level. Live from abundance. Give magnificently. Decide unwaveringly. Move boldly. Because when an individual aligns their thinking with ultimate truth, the entire cosmos moves to support them. You need no one's permission. You don't require applause. You don't need the spotlight. You require only one thing: to believe that the creative force of the universe lives in you. Through that connection, all possibilities exist. Now write your vision once more, but this time, make it vast. Set your goals again, but this time, make them audacious. Speak your truth again, but this time, make it resonant. And act on your plan again, but this time without a flicker of hesitation. For the world doesn't need more distraction. It needs you, fully awakened, fully aligned, and fully alive. That version of you is approaching. It is prepared. It is already present. We now arrive at the place few reach, not for lack of potential, but for lack of endurance. It isn't IQ, talent, or even luck that separates the truly prosperous from the rest. It is spiritual stamina, the choice to stay the course when it's difficult, to walk in conviction when proof is thin, to believe in the unseen while building in the seen. This stamina doesn't come from willpower alone. It flows from your alignment. A person deeply connected doesn't need constant pep talks. They have revelation. They don't collapse at a delay. They understand all experiences are integrated, not just the pleasant ones, but the setbacks, the quiet phases, the waiting. Because everything that feels like opposition is often preparation. And preparation creates space for authentic wealth. The kind of wealth that doesn't vanish in a storm. The kind of wealth that can't be eroded by markets. The kind of wealth that outlives you. The most affluent people in history aren't remembered for their earnings, but for their creations, for the depth of their influence, and for the scale of their service. So if you desire to grow truly rich, with the inner source guiding you, you must be more than an earner. You must be a builder of people, of vision, of systems, of principles, of legacies. This requires integrity. It requires maturity. It requires you to step out of small-mindedness and into stewardship. You must start to see yourself not just as someone who acquires, but as someone who multiplies, who manages, who transforms every environment you enter, because you carry the unmistakable presence of a higher intelligence. And that presence, when fully engaged, becomes your greatest asset. When you enter a room, you are not alone. When you present your idea, you are not speaking alone. When you make a choice, you are not deciding alone. You are being guided, moment by moment, by a voice that is quiet but never incorrect. And that voice isn't found in noise. It's found in stillness. So you must protect your peace. Shut off the distractions. Close the endless tabs. Quiet the world and get alone with the one who gave you the vision. Because the more successful you become, the more tempting it will be to rely solely on your own cleverness. But humanity was never meant to operate on cleverness alone. We are meant to operate on spiritual power, and that power is renewed in solitude, not in applause. Return to your source frequently. Keep your inner ear tuned to its guidance, and never forget, all the riches on earth cannot replace a single moment of divine instruction. You now grasp what most never will, that riches are not chased, they are grown within. You become rich internally first through thoughts of confidence, peace, vision, and purpose. Then you express that inner richness through action, faith-filled, bold, strategic action. And here's the beautiful truth. Once you become that person, no one can take it from you. You could lose an enterprise and rebuild a greater one. You could lose an opportunity and find a superior one. Because the source of your wealth isn't in an institution. It's in your consciousness, your spirit, your heart, your habits. That is what it means to co-create with the intelligence within you. It is not about chance. It is about law. And the laws of reality always respond to the person who is in right relationship with themselves and their source. Now, for the practical side of mastery. What must you do daily to remain in this frequency of abundance? You must begin each day with deliberate intent. Before the world imposes its agenda, you must define yourself through stillness, through reflection, through gratitude, through scripting your aims, through visualizing your results, through declaring your identity. I am abundant because I am one with the source of all. I am calm because I trust in divine timing. I am bold because I am fashioned from greatness. These are not just words. They are activations. They activate your highest, most confident, most prosperous self. Then you must follow these declarations with focused execution. Create the work. Make the connection. Deliver the value. Build the structure. Refine the craft. Mentor another. And above all, do what you said you would do. For nothing attracts true wealth faster than integrity in motion. When the universe observes a person who is faithful with little, it entrusts them with much. The person who honors their word when no one watches becomes a person of influence. The person who continues to show up when it's hard becomes a magnet for grace. That grace is not random. It is earned through alignment. Now to your fears. What if I fail? What if I appear foolish? What if I lose it all? I tell you, those are the whispers of a former self. That person is fading. The person you are becoming doesn't ask, what if I fail? They ask, what if I soar? They ask, what if my faithfulness unlocks futures for generations? They ask, what if I am the one who transforms the landscape? And then they move, not from fear, but from profound conviction. This is how you build in silence. This is how you construct in the shadows before the light finds you. This is how you become so rooted in your true nature that success doesn't surprise you. It simply confirms what you already knew. And when abundance arrives, as it will, you will not be shaken, because your joy didn't come from the outcome. It came from the realization that you are not alone, that you are not insignificant, that you are not disqualified. You are selected. You are connected. You are favored. And everything you need is already within, waiting to be claimed through clarity, courage, and unwavering commitment. This is the prosperous consciousness, powered by the divine. This is the unseen foundation of the world's most impactful leaders. This is the difference between those who strive for money and those who attract wealth while transforming lives. One hustles, the other is harmonized. One grinds, the other glows. One searches for answers, the other becomes a channel through which answers flow. So, which will you be? Will you continue thinking like someone separate from source? Or will you finally embrace the truth that the same force that orchestrates galaxies lives in you, speaks through you, and works through you? When you embrace that truth, you won't need to chase money. Money will be drawn to you, because money is moved not by effort alone, but by energy. The energy of purpose, of boldness, of generosity, of divine alignment. And that energy is now yours, if you choose to live at this elevated level. So, write the manuscript, launch the venture, take the leap, build the brand, raise your standard, articulate the vision, bless the world, and do not glance back. You are not who you once were. You are not who they labeled you to be. You are becoming exactly who you were designed to be. Powerful, clear, prosperous, and fully aligned with purpose. The world will come to know your name, not because you shouted loudest, but because you stood firm. Not because you pleaded, but because you believed. Not because you imitated, but because you trusted the voice within. That voice will never abandon you. It will never fail you. It is the creative intelligence within you. And when you think with it, walk with it, build with it, you will grow rich in every dimension. In finances, in favor, in fulfillment, in peace, in legacy, all because you finally understood the secret was never outside. It was always within. Now, if this message resonated, do one thing for me and for the channel. Hit the like button. It helps winds of thought reach more seekers ready for this awakening. Thank you for watching.